Hi everyone, welcome to Keep Calm and Crochet. Today I'm going to show you how to crochet this cute little gingerbread man. For this tutorial you're going to need plush yarn in brown, red, white and green, some black double knit yarn for the mouth, 12mm security eyes. In addition to this you're going to need a stitch marker, some fiber fill, pair of scissors, darning needle and a 5mm crochet hook. So make sure you've got all of those components. Now before we start, if you enjoy watching my tutorials, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Let's get started. We're going to start off with the legs, and for this we're going to work a slip knot using whatever method you prefer and chain 2. 1, 2. From here you're going to skip your first chain and work 6 single crochets in the second chain from your hook. That's my first. Back in that same space to work 5 more. 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Once you have your 6 single crochets in a row, you're going to pull on this bit of yarn to eliminate the gap between your stitches. And once you've done that, this will bring your stitches nice and close together and eliminate the gap between your stitches. From here, you're going to locate your first single crochet of your previous round and slip your hook in the top part of that. Now we're going to be working in a spiral. So we're going to work first single crochet of round 2 in there. Slip your hook back into that same stitch to work another single crochet. Now when you work 2 single crochets in the same stitch, it's called an increase. We're going to be working 6 increases in this round. Here's my second increase, third increase, fourth increase, fifth, and final one, increase number 6. Once you work your 6 increases, this should bring your stitch count to 12. We're going to start the next round in the next stitch by working a single crochet. From here I'm going to start using a stitch marker to identify the start of each of my rounds. Let's go ahead, follow the single crochet on with a single crochet in every one of these stitches all the way around. You're going to need 12 altogether. That's 8, 9, 10, 11, and number 12. From here we're going to work a slip stitch in the next stitch as we're going to change the color over to white. So work a slip stitch in there, go ahead and snip this yarn off, pull this out and secure this in place. Let's grab your white color and you're going to attach this anywhere away from this stitch where we've just finished off. This is so we don't have a sudden change in color and we have a seamless effect. So pull this through, give it a little knot in place, and going back into that same stitch to pull up a loop to work chain 1. Back in that same stitch to work our first stitch of this round, which is your first single crochet. Now in this round we're going to be working a whole round of single crochets. So a single crochet in every one of these stitches all the way around. Go ahead and work that and meet me back here. After working one whole round of single crochets, stitch count is still 12. We're going to work a slip stitch in the next stitch, or the first single crochet of this round. Let's go ahead and snip this yarn off, pull it out of the stitch. We're going to change the color back to the main color of this gingerbread man. So again, same thing. This is where we've finished, so I'm going to move away from it and attach the new yarn in anywhere. So pull this through, give it a little knot in place, slip your hook back inside that same stitch, start with chain 1, back in that same stitch again to work your first stitch of this round, which is a single crochet. Now you're going to follow this single crochet on with a single crochet in every one of these stitches all the way around. To finish this round, you're going to need 12 single crochets in a row. You're going to follow that same method twice to have 2 rounds of single crochet. Go ahead and work that and meet me back here. At the end of 2 rounds of single crochet, your stitch count should still be 12. Now we're going to work a slip stitch in the next stitch to fasten off with this leg. Snip this yarn off, pull it out, and that finishes one leg. Let's turn it the right way around, and we're going to follow the same instructions and make another one of these, but this time we won't be snipping the yarn off. Keep it attached and meet me back here. I've now finished crocheting the second leg as well. Yarn is still attached. We're going to chain 1 and attach the 2 things together with a slip stitch. So slip your hook in any of these stitches, pull up a loop, make this loop go through the loop that was already on your hook. And once these 2 legs are attached, we're going to start working on the body. So chain 1 to begin, back into that same stitch to work your first single crochet of this round. We're going to be working a single crochet in every single one of these stitches all the way around. So you're going to have 12 single crochets around this leg and 12 around this leg and 2 in the chain 1 stitch. So let's go ahead and show you this. So work 12 stitches around one leg first. And that's my last one, which is 12. Now once you worked your way all the way around the first leg, you're going to be coming across the chain stitch. So we're going to slip our hook in that chain stitch and we're going to work our single crochet in there. Need to make sure you go in the right space. Yeah, that was the right space. Okay, so once you work that single crochet, you're going to start working single crochets around the next leg. So 12 more single crochets around there. 2, 10, 11 and 12. Now once I've worked my 12 single crochets around the second leg, we will come across the chain stitch again. So on this side, even though it's already worked in, we're going to turn it upwards like this and catch just one loop or one strand and work a single crochet from this side as well. Now that finishes our first round and your stitch count should be 26 at this point. We are now going to start the next round by working a single crochet in our first stitch. I'm going to start using a stitch marker from here on, and we're going to be following the single crochet on with a single crochet in every one of these stitches all the way around. To finish this round, you're going to need 26 single crochets. And once you finish one round, you're going to follow the same instructions 4 more times to have 5 rounds of single crochet. So go ahead and work 5 rounds of single crochet and meet me back here. After 5 rounds of single crochet, your stitch count should still be 26. We're now going to start the next round with a decrease in the first stitch. To do this, you're going to pull up a loop from the first stitch and the next stitch after that. 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 in one go. And that's our first stitch of this round. We're going to follow this on with 11 single crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. We're going to work another decrease now. So slip your hook in the next stitch, pull up a loop, in the stitch after that pull up a loop. 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 in one go. Now you should have 11 stitches left in this round, so go ahead, work a single crochet in all of those and then meet me back here. Once you worked your 11 single crochets, your stitch count should be 24. Now we're going to start the next round with 2 single crochets in a row. So there's my first stitch marker back in place. second, and follow these 2 single crochets on with a decrease. Pull up a loop from the next 2 stitches, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 in one go. And here's your combination for this round. 2 single crochets followed on with a decrease. Repeat that all the way around. At the end of this round, your stitch count should be 18. Now going to start the next round with a single crochet in our first stitch, stitch marker back in place. We're going to follow the single crochet on with a single crochet in every one of these stitches all the way around. You're going to need 18 single crochets to finish this round. Go ahead and do that and meet me back here. At the end of this round, your stitch count should be 18. Now we're going to start the next round by working 4 single crochets in a row. Here's my first, second, stitch marker back in place, third and fourth, followed on with a decrease. So pull up a loop from the next 2 stitches, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 in one go. And here's your combination for this round. 4 single crochets followed on with a decrease. Repeat that all the way around. At the end of this round, your stitch count should be 15. We're going to start the last round on the body by working 3 single crochets in a row. So that's 2. And my third one, followed on with a decrease. Pull up a loop from the next 2 stitches, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops that you had on your hook. And here's your combination for this round. 3 single crochets followed on with a decrease, and repeat that all the way around. At the end of this round, your stitch count should be 12. Now we are going to, before we start the next round, we are going to take a minute and grab some scrap yarn and insert that in round below where we just are. So this identifies where we're going to be stitching the arms on later. As we are working the whole body, legs and the head all in one go, it's best to just highlight this particular stitch. Now from here we're going to start working on the head. For this you're going to work an increase in the first stitch here. Put the stitch marker back in place, and we're going to follow this increase on with an increase in every single one of these stitches all the way around. So go ahead and do that and meet me back here. At the end of this round, your stitch count should be 24. Now we're going to start the next round with 3 single crochets in a row. So here's my first, second and third. Follow this on with an increase, so 2 single crochets in that same stitch. And here's your repeat for this round. 3 single crochets followed on with an increase, and repeat that all the way around. At the end of this round, your stitch count should be 30. We're now going to start the next round by working a single crochet in our first stitch, stitch marker back in place. You're going to follow that single crochet on with a single crochet in every one of these stitches all the way around. To finish one round, you're going to need 30 single crochets in a row. You're going to follow the same method 6 times altogether to have 6 rounds of single crochet. So go ahead and work 6 rounds, fill this up with fibre fill, and then meet me back here. At the end of 6 rounds of single crochet, your stitch count should still be 30. Now we're going to take a minute and insert some security eyes into this head. Make the body quite flat, and from here you're going to be inserting this eye between round 3 and 4 from the top. If you're counting from the top here, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So stitches between those two. I'm keeping 4 stitches in between. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's insert this. So before I put the backing on, we need to make sure we're happy with the positioning. And I would suggest for you to keep the eyes in line with the legs, so making sure that they're facing the right way up. If you're happy with the positioning, go ahead and put the backing on. And from here, we're going to start the next round. And in this round, we're going to work 3 single crochets in a row. 1, 2, and 3. Stitch marker back in place. Follow this on with a decrease. So slip your hook in the next stitch, pull up a loop. Do the same with the stitch after that, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 in one go. And here's your combination for this round. 3 single crochets followed on with a decrease. Repeat that all the way around. At the end of this round, your stitch count is 24. Let's start the next round with 2 single crochets in a row. That's 1, 2, followed on with a decrease. To work this, you're going to pull up a loop from the next 2 stitches, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 in one go. And here's your combination for this round. 2 single crochets followed on with a decrease, and repeat that all the way around. At the end of this round, stitch count is 18. Let's start the next round by working a single crochet in our first stitch. Stitch marker back in place. Follow this single crochet on with a decrease. So pull up a loop from the next 2 stitches, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 in one go. Now this space between the stitches is reducing in size, so make sure to fill this up with some fiber fill all the way to the top. Work this round and then meet me back here. At the end of this round, your stitch count is 12. Let's work our last round to close this gap off. And for this, you're going to be working 6 decreases back to back. So that's my first decrease, second, third, fourth, fifth, and my 6th one. Now you will notice that there is still a tiny little gap between your stitches. To close this off, you are either going to use a darning needle to stitch this up, or you're going to work 1 more decrease to make this gap even smaller, and then work a slip stitch in the opposite direction to close this off. So catch the stitch in the opposite direction and pull up a loop from there to work a slip stitch. Let's go ahead and snip this yarn off, pull it out of the stitch and pull this down to secure it in place. Now from here, you're going to slip your hook from further away, make it come out from that same stitch where we've just finished, loop the yarn onto your hook and pull this in all the way. And there we go. That is now secure. Give the head and the body a little squeeze, and that's the body of this gingerbread man complete. Now onto the arm, and for this let's grab the brown color yarn again and work a slip knot, chain 2 to begin. From here you're going to skip your first chain and work 6 single crochets in the second chain from your hook. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and here's my 6th one. Let's pull on this bit of yarn to eliminate the gap between your stitches. And there we go. This should bring your stitches nice and close together. From here, you're going to start the next round by slipping your hook in the first single crochet of your previous round. Work your single crochet of round 2 in there. Follow this on with an increase in the next stitch. And we're going to have this same combination repeated 2 more times. 1 single crochet, followed on with an increase, 1 more time, single crochet, followed on with an increase. Now this should bring your stitch count to 9. From here you're going to have 1 whole round of just single crochets. I'm going to start using a stitch marker from here, and let's work 9 single crochets all together. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Once we worked our 9 single crochets, we're going to work a slip stitch in the next stitch, and we're going to change the color over to white. Let's snip this off, pull it out, and there you go. Grab the next color, and we're going to attach that in the opposite direction from where we have just finished. Catch the top part of any of those stitches on the other side and pull this yarn through, give it a little knot in place. Now from here I'm going to go into that stitch and work a chain 1 first, back in that same stitch to work my first single crochet of this round. Now we're going to be following this single crochet on with a single crochet in every one of these stitches all the way around. So go ahead and work that and meet me back here. Once you worked your 9 single crochets, you're going to work a slip stitch in the first single crochet that was done in white. And let's snip this yarn off and secure this in place. Now, before we start and keep working on these stitches, we're going to turn this arm the right way around. Let's stuff all of these strands inside, grab the same color as before and attach it on top of these white stitches. Now from here, slip your hook back in that same stitch, chain 1, and then in the same stitch work your first single crochet of this round. Now in this round you're going to be working 2 rows of just single crochets. So the first one will have 9 and then the next one will have 9. Go ahead and finish that and then meet me back here. After 2 rounds of single crochet, stitch count is still 9. Let's start the next round by working a single crochet in our first stitch, stitch marker back in place. We're going to follow this single crochet on with a decrease. So pull up a loop from the next 2 stitches, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. Now before you work this round, the size of this hole between the stitches is quite small. So we're going to stuff this up with some fiber fill and then continue working this round. There we go. So we're going to repeat that same combination 2 more times. So that's 1 single crochet followed on with another decrease. And for the last time, single crochet and decrease. Now this brings our stitch count to 6. Let's take the stitch marker off. Now on to the next round. We're going to start off by working a single crochet in our first stitch. And we're going to follow that on with a single crochet in every one of these stitches all the way around. To finish one round, you're going to need 6 single crochets all together. We're going to follow the same method 2 times to have 2 rounds of single crochet. So let's work 6 more stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So once you've worked those 2 rounds of single crochet, go ahead and stuff this arm all the way up to the top with fiber fill. But we don't want to stuff it too much on the top. Now we're going to fasten off and close off the gap between the stitches first. To do this, you're going to slip your hook in the next stitch, make it come out from the back. Now if I pull these apart, you will notice I've gone through the front and the back of these stitches. Yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through both. That's my first single crochet. We're going to work 3 single crochet across the top. Here's my second and here's my third one. Once you've done that, you're going to chain 1 and we're going to leave a long tail and snip this yarn off, pull it out of the stitch and pull this down to secure it in place. Now that's one arm done. You're going to follow the same method one more time to create another one of these. So go ahead and do that and meet me back here. Onto the cream on top of the head. For this, grab your cream yarn or white yarn and work a slip stitch, chain 2, work 6 single crochets in the second chain from your hook. Here's my 6th one. Once you have your 6 single crochets, pull on this bit of yarn to eliminate the gap between your stitches. And there we go. This should bring your stitches nice and close together. In the next round, you're going to be working 6 increases. That's my first increase, second increase, third increase, fourth, fifth, and my increase number 6. This should bring your stitch count to 12. From here, you're going to start the next round by working an increase in the first stitch. Let's start using our stitch marker to keep track of our starting points. We're going to be following this increase with an increase in every single one of these stitches. So go ahead and work that and meet me back here. At the end of this round, your stitch count should be 24. Let's start the next round. And in this round, you're going to work 3 single crochets in a row. That's my first, second, and third. Stitch marker back in place. Follow this on with an increase. So 2 single crochets in that same stitch. And here's your repeat for this round. 3 single crochets followed on with an increase. Repeat that all the way around. At the end of this round, your stitch count should be 30. Now we're going to start the next round by working 2 single crochets in a row. And follow this on with an increase. And now we're going to have 2 more single crochets to finish that combination. So here's your combination, or here's your repeat for this round. 2 single crochets, increase, 2 single crochets. 2 single crochets, increase, 2 single crochets. Repeat that all the way around. At the end of this round, your stitch count is 36. Now we're going to start the next round, and in here we're going to try to make some drips that are coming out of this cream to go over the gingerbread's head. To do this, you're going to work a single crochet in the first stitch first. So we can put our stitch marker there. Now from here, you're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Skip your first chain and work 3 single crochets coming back towards the white bit. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Once you worked your 3 single crochets, you're going to work a slip stitch in the next stitch. And from here, I'm going to work 3 single crochets in a row. So 1, 2, 3. Let's do the same thing one more time. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. And this time you're going to work 2 single crochets. So skip the first chain and slip your hook in the second chain from your hook. And here's my second single crochet. So this is a little drip. And we're going to again slip stitch in the next stitch to attach that onto this white bit, like this. And this time we're going to work 5 single crochets in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to work a double crochet in the next stitch, yarn over, slip your hook in the next stitch, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through first 2, yarn over, pull through next 2. I'm going to work a treble crochet in the next stitch. So yarn over on your hook twice, slip your hook in the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through first 2, yarn over, pull through next 2, yarn over, pull through the next 2 after that. We're going to work a double crochet in the stitch after that. So yarn over and work a double crochet there. Now this will create like a, not a drip, but a curve. So in the next stitch, you're going to work half double crochet. So half double crochet, yarn over, go into that stitch, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through, all 3 in one go. Now in the next stitch, next 6 stitches, you're going to have 6 single crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This time we're going to chain 4 again. 1, 2, 3, 4. skip the first chain and work 3 single crochets coming back towards the base. 1, 2 and 3. Work a slip stitch in the next stitch, and now we are going to be working single crochets all the way back to where we to finish this round. So let's do that. And once we are back to the beginning, we're going to work a slip stitch in the next stitch like this, leaving a long tail. Go ahead and snip this yarn off, pull this out of the stitch and pull this down to secure it in place. And that is the cream that's going to be stitched on top of the head. We're now going to work on the berries, and for this let's grab our red yarn, work a slip knot and chain 2. From here you're going to work 6 single crochets in the second chain from your hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and here's my 6th one. Once you have your 6 single crochets, pull on this bit of yarn to eliminate the gap between your stitches, and this should bring your stitches nice and close together. Round 2 is going to be started in the first single crochet of your previous round, and we're going to be working 6 increases in this. Here's my first increase, second increase, third increase, fourth increase, fifth, and my 6th one. Now from here you're going to be working 6 decreases in a row to finish off with this berry. So slip your hook in the next stitch, pull up a loop, do the same with the stitch after that, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3, making sure that it curves the right way out. So let's work on this together. Here's my second decrease, third decrease, fourth, fifth, and my last decrease is number 6 right here. And once you work your 6 decreases, you'll notice that it looks somewhat like a berry at the moment. We are going to stuff this little tail that's coming out. We're going to put it back inside the stitch or this berry, and from here you're going to work 1 more decrease and then a slip stitch. So that's 1 decrease, and when you're working a slip stitch you're going to be doing this in the opposite stitch. So that's where we finish. We're going to go on the opposite side and work a slip stitch there. Now we can snip the yarn off, leaving a long tail, pull this out and pull this down to secure it in place, and that finishes 1 berry. You're going to follow the same instructions and make another one of these. Now onto the leaf, and for this we're going to grab our green color yarn and work a slip knot and chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Skip your first chain and work 2 single crochets in a row, starting from the second chain from your hook. 1, 2. We're going to work 2 half double crochets next, yarn over your hook, slip your hook in the next stitch, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 in one go. Let's do that one more time. Yarn over, slip your hook in the next stitch and work a half double crochet like this. In the next 2 stitches you're going to work single crochets again, so 2 single crochets in a row. Now from here, you're going to turn the leaf over and work exactly the same combination, but on the other side. So just at the base of the single crochet that we have just done, we're going to work another single crochet and another single crochet in the stitch after that. So 2 single crochets in a row, followed by 2 half double crochets at the base of the previous stitches. And you should have 2 stitches left, and you're going to work 2 single crochets in there. So that's 1 and the last stitch here. And there we go. Once we've done that, you're going to slip your hook in the first single crochet where we started working on the leaf. Pull up a loop and work a, that's not gone in the right place. Pull up a loop and make that loop go through the loop that was already on your hook. Now I can go ahead and snip this yarn off, pull it out of the stitch and pull this down, and there's our leaf complete. Now I'm going to slip my hook in a zigzag manner just in the middle part of this leaf, yarn this loop onto your hook and pull this through, just like this. So this gets worked in when we do that. We can actually do it in the last couple of stitches as well. And let's give this a little knot in place with the other bit of yarn that we have at the bottom. And there we go, it's ready for assembly. Now onto the buttons, and for this let's grab our red yarn and work a slip knot, chain 2, skip the first chain and work 6 single crochets in the second chain from your hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Once you have your 6 single crochets, pull on this bit of yarn to eliminate the gap between your stitches. And now we're going to work a slip stitch in the first single crochet of this row. So just pull a loop from the first single crochet, make it go through the loop that was already on your hook. And now we're going to keep a long tail and snip this yarn off and pull it out of the stitch and pull this down. And there we go, that's one of the buttons done. Just following the same method, you're going to make 3 of these. Now onto the assembly. Let's go ahead and start off by attaching the arms on. I've gone ahead and done one. I'll show you how to do this one. So we're going to thread this bit into the darning needle and hold this arm centrally positioned on the side. So in line with the legs, position in the center, and we're going to be sewing that in line with the other side, and that should be where your scrap yarn was. So I've taken that out because that's where the scrap yarn was. So once you've found exactly where you want to sew this, you're going to move the head out of the way, catch 1 stitch on the body and 1 stitch on the arm. Let's go through that one more time. 1 stitch on the body, 1 stitch on the arm, and just like this, you're going to move on to the next stitch. Now move on to the next stitch on the arm as well, and then the last stitch. Let's catch the last stitch on the body. Once you get to the side, the last stitch, we're going to go through that stitch one more time as well to make the connection really nice and strong. And once you're happy with the positioning and the stitches, you're going to slip the needle back into the middle of the arm, guide it to come out from the base, and this is where we're going to secure it. So isolate a single thread or a stitch, create a loop with the existing yarn here, slip your needle inside that loop and pull this down to create a knot in place. Once you've done that, you're going to slip your needle back inside that same stitch, guide it to come out through, go through some fiber fill and come out from another side of the body. And just like this, you can either repeat the process or go ahead and snip the yarn off just from there. Let's go ahead do that. And there we go. Now the arms are on. Moving on to the head. And for this, we're going to be starting off with this white piece, which is the icing on top of the head. So let's grab the 2 cherries and our darning needle. Slip our darning needle from the base. Make it come out from around the first round. So we're going to pull 1 of these red yarns in. And we're going to do the same on the other side. Just leave 1 stitch in between or 2 stitches in between. And we're going to grab the second cherry or the second bauble and pull this in as well. And we're going to take these 2 bits of yarn and give it a little knot in place. And that should secure it nice and well. There we go. And from here we're going to grab our leaf. There are 2 strands at the base. We're going to, right at the base of this, which is the center of this icing, we're going to slip our hook from there and pull up a loop, or grab this green loop and pull this through. There we go. And let's grab the other bit from another stitch, like this. And once you have your both strands at the back, you're going to give them both a little knot in place. If one of your strands are really short, you can always use one of these red strands to give it a knot in place. Now once we're happy with the positioning we are going to snip these yarns down to a shorter size so that when we stitch this stays on the inside. Now let's go ahead, thread this bit of yarn into a darning needle and let's stitch this onto the head. To do this, you're going to be positioning this so that these 2 strands are in the front, or on the side, should I say. So here we go. We're going to keep these 2 on the side. Let's use the second bit as guidance. It needs to be in line with the eye. And this way you'll notice that there is a curvy bit that's going to be on this side of the head. And that's where we're going to sew this together. So holding this in place, you can use some pins to hold it in place if you wish. We're going to catch 1 stitch on the head and then 1 stitch on the icing, like this. When it comes to these longer bits, you're going to hold it down and then sew it on. And just like this, you're going to make your way all the way around all of these stitches. So stitching this just above the eye and stitch this all the way around. So go ahead and do that and meet me back here. Icing on the head is now on. Moving on to the buttons, and for this we're going to be taking the 3 buttons that we've created. I'm going to position them in this format: red, white and then green. So holding the first color in, make sure that the tail is coiled at the back and is just underneath this piece. And from here you're going to catch 1 stitch on the body and then catch a stitch on the button. You can certainly attach normal buttons on if you wish to. 1 stitch on the body and 1 stitch on the button, and we're going to make our way all the way around. And once you've made your way all the way around and we're back to where we started, we're going to just go through that same stitch one more time, and then we're going to isolate just one stitch on the red part and create a loop, slip your hook through that loop and pull this down to create a knot in place. And once you've done that, you're going to slip your needle back into that same stitch, slip it through some fiber fill, make it come out from another side of the body, and from here we can go ahead and snip this off. And just like this, you're going to go ahead and attach the other two colors on as well, and then meet me back here. Buttons are now on. Let's move on to the final detail, and that's the mouth. Thread your darning needle with black yarn, and you're going to keep the mouth in position in the center of the eyes. So slip your needle in the stitch that's directly underneath the eye, make it come out from the other side where it would be in line with the eye again. Pull this out, and now from here you're going to slip your needle back into that same stitch, but this time make it come out from one round below and directly in the center of the eyes. Pull this out, and now move the thread up. It will look like this, and we're going to slip this needle back into that same stitch where the black yarn is coming out from, and from here make it come out from where we started the whole thing. And there we go. This will pull the yarn down and create the smile that we are after. These two bit of black yarn that we've got, we're going to give this a little. Now we're going to give these two strands of yarn a little knot in place. Take your darning needle, slip it in from further away, make it come out from that same stitch, and loop these two bits of yarn onto it, pull these in and out from somewhere else. There we go. I'm going to do this one more time so it's worked in quite far. Okay, let's snip this to a smaller size and pull these in. And there we go. And that finishes our gingerbread man. If you enjoyed making this gingerbread man with me, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.